When we hauled out Starry Horizons after a few weeks of working hard on projects, we were ready for a bit of a break from boats. Flying and driving around Australia for 6 weeks was just what the doctor had ordered. For our first stop, we flew down to Canberra. It's quite unique in that it's a master planned city that was selected as the location for the capital of Australia in 1908 in a compromise between Sydney and Melbourne. There were a surprising number of Aussies who told us to skip it, but we ended up really enjoying the city. There was a nice hike up Mount Ainslie, complete with kangaroos, where we got a nice overview and could definitely see some evidence of the city planning.
You can see everything from up here.
We also made sure to stop into the Australian War Memorial, and I have to say, it was extremely well done. Even though we aren't Australians, we were still moved walking through the memorial courtyard with its eternal flame, seeing the tomb of the unknown soldier under the big domed roof in the Hall of Memory, and reading through the Roll of Honor, seeing the red poppies next to the over 100,000 Australian servicemen and women who've lost their lives in defense of their country, and learning that the 66,000 men and women who died in World War I represented almost 1.5% of the entire population was quite sobering. Since Canberra is the capital of Australia, we couldn't leave without a visit to Parliament House. And not just any old regular visit, mind you. We were incredibly lucky to be offered a personalized tour by one of our amazing followers. It was absolutely fascinating to get a look behind the curtain, and one of the highlights of our entire Australian trip was getting to visit the floor of the Senate. Personally, I think Amy looked a little too comfortable. Next on our itinerary was a short flight down to Adelaide, where we met up with our friend Tony, who took us out for a special treat. All right, babe, what's going on?
We're going diving.
Yeah, we are.
On a special dive, actually. We are looking for leafy sea dragons.
Which are pretty rare, we understand.
They're pretty rare, but they've sighted a bunch recently, so odds are pretty good that we're going to find some today.
All right, guys. Honest opinions. How was the dive?
I thought it was below average.
Oh. See, and our opinion, Amy.
It was nice because it was different from what we normally do.
Yes, different coral reefs.
That's a politically correct rating.
It was. I mean, the pilings were cool. I thought the visibility would be worse. I don't know why I thought it would be terrible, but it wasn't. And we saw big cuttlefish, lots of starfish,
Sea stars.
lots of soft corals, and lots of kelp type things.
Hey, at least we got to go diving. That was pretty awesome.
There were a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I had a good time.
That's what matters. We timed our visit to Australia so that we could attend Adelaide Fringe. It bills itself as the Southern Hemisphere's largest open-access arts festival. The streets were packed, but we still managed to find tickets to a, shall we say, unique show. To top off the night, we walked down North Terrace to take in the stunning parade of lights. We couldn't stay in Adelaide too long though, as the time had come to begin our first road trip in Australia.
Oh my God, you're driving!
Oh my God, we're driving!
That's
Yes,
exciting.
it is road trip time. So we've had a good time both in Canberra and Adelaide, and now we're doing the Great Ocean road trip.
Yes. So the Great Ocean Road is actually like closer to Melbourne, but we're driving from Adelaide to Melbourne.
So we'll touch on a little bit of everything. And unfortunately, we're breaking our streak because we have, I'm going to butcher how they say it in Australia, a Nissan, I don't know, you say Nissan. And we usually give the car a star name, but apparently it's a Pulsar, which is already constellation related, so it's just the Pulsar. I still vote Nissan, but either way, the car proved to be a good one. We made a couple off the beaten track stops to start off the trip, but there was one big thing we had circled on the map.
These are huge. So I guess the sign says the big lobster, but I'm pretty sure they call it crayfish here. So it's a giant crayfish.
Yeah, this goes along with the giant banana we found in Coffs Harbour.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a very big crayfish.
Wow,
Ready?
look how windy.
Perspective.
Woo. There's Amy. That's kind of terrifying. That thing is just weird looking.
Its antenna have extra supports.
And apparently it's for sale.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to come by a giant crayfish and restaurant,
You can buy a giant crayfish. Hey, we're on the way again.
day 2.
600 meters, turn right onto Millicent Road.
Ah,
Yeah,
she's
that's
talking
very
to you.
nice of us. Yeah, so it's day 2. We have left Roe, but we are headed towards Beachport, I do believe it's called.
That is our first stop, yes.
Yes, so why don't you go put the camera on yourself and you can tell us all what we're gonna do.
We just pulled into Beachport, which is a cute little seaside town here. And they have a massive jetty that goes out into the Southern Ocean. So we're gonna go walk the jetty.
You look a little cold there, my dear.
It is a little cold. It's a little windy. It's a lot windy, actually.
Yes.
But we have this lovely shelter down at the end of the pier, provided to us by the Lower Southeast Branch of Recreational Fishers Association.
Well, as I understand it, those guys are legends.
Yeah, they're awesome because this shelter really protects from the wind, and with the sun coming in right now, feels a lot better.
Yeah.
My ears need warming up though.
Aww.
So, yeah, so we're here on the pier, on the jetty.
And how long is it? Like, how long we just walked?
The jetty is a 2,500 foot long jetty.
Yeah, and how long was it originally?
It was originally 4,000 feet.
Why do you need a jetty that long?
Yeah, it's a very long jetty, but apparently they decided that the far end wasn't super useful, so they got rid of it. So it's only 2,500 feet, but there's like a crane for commercial fishing activity, and there's a bunch of commercial fishing boats moored here. So it looks like it's still put in pretty good use.
Yeah.
And it is a gorgeous view. Like, we're looking out, well, the Southern Ocean is kind of that way, or we're in the Southern Ocean. We must be in a bay. But we can see we came from that way and we are going that way. It's a very nice view of the shore, the coastline.
Yeah, what a nice little stop here.
Yeah, a cute little seaside town, which are my favorites.
We couldn't spend too long in these little seaside towns, as I worried Amy might not leave. So to even things out, our next stop was on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Or were you forgetting something in there?
No, just tugging things away.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so where are we now, babe?
Oh, here's another fun one to say. Tantanoola Caves. Tantanoola Caves Conservation Park. Yes.
So caves.
Yeah, so there's actually like a whole bunch of caves under the ground here in southern Australia. And
Is that where caves are?
Yes, caves are underground.
I know.
Yeah, so this is the one we're gonna go to because it's not so far out of our way. There is another one that is like a World Heritage Site, but it's pretty far out of the way. So, yeah, I hear this one's good.
Let's go check it out.
Oh yeah.
We were a bit early for a scheduled tour, so to pass the time, we set off on a short hike. Amy was on the lookout for another quintessential Aussie animal.
Keeping an eye out for wallabies.
Well, that didn't take long to find your wallaby.
It did not. Hanging out in the shade though, they are hard to spot because she said they're black wallabies. Or little black wallabies or something like that. Yeah.
Well, where there's one, there must be others, as you said.
Oh yes, I bet there's more. Hanging out in the shade, like right there. I see the ears. It's like bunny ears.
Well, I didn't see him. I think Amy must be like an outback guide.
Still there.
Hang on, she's still looking for him.
He's right there.
He's right where?
Crouch down a little bit. You can see him right there.
Oh my goodness, he is way back there.
I know,
Yeah.
he's pretty far back there, but
Oh,
he's identifiable as a wallaby.
there's some ears maybe you can see. So we have found ourselves up here on a cliff top walk. So we get both cliffs and caves at the stop, which is pretty cool. So you can see, got a whole lot of just like kind of cliffs. Apparently the name of this place, which I'm not gonna try to pronounce, but in the original Aboriginal language meant like windbreak. So like I guess, you know, these little cliffs would provide kind of a break from the wind that seems to always be howling here, which is kind of cool. Parks Australia administers the cave these days, and we were told the story about how the cave was discovered in 1930 by 16-year-old Boyce Lane. He followed his ferret down a small hole in the cliffs and discovered something beyond. Our guide told us about the various names some of the formations have been given over the years and pointed out various stalactites that were thousands of years old. What do you think? That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Kind of reminds me of being back in Bermuda.
I know. I was
They were
just
doing those
thinking that
caves
too.
there?
Crystal Caves, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very, very cool cave. It's like well lit. Yeah. Means I can get some good pictures in here. That's cool.
Alright, babe. It's time to pick a favorite. What's your favorite part of the cave?
I do like the reflection pool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool down there.
It doesn't really come out well in photos or video, but it does reflect the stalactites on the ceiling.
It looks like it's really deep.
Yeah. And you can occasionally see little drips and the ripples into the pool.
That is always cool. Alright, I gotta say, I think my favorite. The big column. Next up on our road trip was a few stops around the Mount Gambier area. So what do we find here, babe?
Blue Lake.
Oh my, something that lives up to its name, huh?
It does. It is very vivid.
And so what, this is the water supply for, or was at least, for Mount Gambier?
Mm-hmm. Good quality water. Lots of it.
How big, what size for the South Australia?
It's the third largest in South Australia. And apparently the lake changes color. So in November, it suddenly goes from its wintertime gray to a vivid blue. And then as the summer fades, it kind of slowly goes back to the gray.
And it is that vivid blue right now, isn't
It's
it?
a vivid blue right now.
Whew. Very, very nice. The color really was intense and reminded me a lot of the endless blue I saw while swimming in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We'd arrived at the perfect time, as at the beginning of April, the lake turns to a steel gray color for winter. Just around the corner, there was a walk up to the Centenary Tower. There's the ground level, and there is the grade of the hike.
They did say short but steep.
It was advertised, huh?
As advertised.
How about that view, babe?
It's a pretty good one. It's worth a hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a hot but steep, as advertised.
But short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the tower.
Yeah, so Mount Gambier was discovered in 1800. And
From a dude on a ship.
From a dude on a ship. Lady Nelson.
Yeah, it's not as good a name as Starry Horizons.
No, Starry Horizons is a better name, obviously. So it was discovered in 1800, and they decided they wanted to build a tower at the 100-year celebration. And it was built it was inaugurated on April 27th, 1904.
It took him just a little while to get it done.
50 years later, the town was established.
Officially a city.
Officially a city. And now, 50 years after that, it's been 218 years.
Since the discovery,
Since the discovery.
Or 114 since the tower was built.
Yes.
All kinds of dates and numbers going on
I
here.
know. Math, guys, math. But we have this awesome view of the city, and we are definitely the highest peak around. Can't see the Blue Lake, which kind of sucks. But we can see Mutton Leg Lake. Yeah. And yeah, just, we love our hikes with a view.
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
The day wasn't quite over yet, as we had one more stop to make before crossing over into Victoria for the night. Alright, so we've got one last tour for the day. Where are we at?
We are at the Umpherston Sinkhole.
Sinkhole.
Which is a garden in the ground.
It's like those cenotes in Mexico and stuff, right?
I have no idea what that is.
A sinkhole.
Apparently, yes.
We'd been in the sun for quite a lot of the day, so heading down into a nice, cool sinkhole sounded like the perfect way to wrap things up. Apparently, James Umpherston thought so as well, as in 1886, he transformed the sinkhole into his own private fantasy garden. It is noticeably cooler down here, isn't it?
It's very comfortable.
Oh, it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe this used to be on some guy's private property. Got a lake with a boat down here. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I would think it would be awesome for weddings now. Like, it is very beautiful.
Sorry babe, we're coming up on 8 years already, so we're past that point.
It's not really good timing for a vow renewal, huh?
No, not quite. Back on the road, we were pretty excited to drive into a new state, only to realize it's apparently not that big of a deal in Australia.
So, what just happened?
Well, apparently we just crossed into Victoria. There was no like grand welcome sign, you know, like you come into Texas, giant welcome to Texas, 900 and something miles to El Paso. Nothing like that here. It was literally, we just noticed on the corner of the sign that there was a like Victoria Parks or something like that rather than South Australia. So I guess we crossed over into a new state.
Well, we're headed to Portland tonight.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of funny because that means we've been to Portland, Australia, Portland, Maine, and Portland, Oregon on this trip, which I think makes Portland, like, by far the most visited city name that I've ever been to. And I'm fine with that because I was born in Portland, Oregon, so Portland rocks.
Alrighty. Well, we've got about a half an hour drive ahead of us.
We'll make it.
Okay.
Passing into Victoria meant we were oh so close to the Great Ocean Road. It turned out to be one of the most scenic drives we've ever taken. Hey y'all, thank you very much for checking out our first video of our Australian adventure. As we discovered, Australia is a pretty damn big country, so we've got a fair amount more coming up. I'm going to link down below to the blog post that Amy wrote about this part of our travels. It's got a lot more details about where we stopped and all that kind of stuff, so if you're looking for that information, go ahead and check that out. And the other thing I want to talk about is we did mention this in the last outro, but we finally have an Instagram page, so we're going to talk about it again. Make sure you guys go check it out. It's called Out Chasing Stars. Surprise, surprise. Hope you all enjoyed the video again, and we'll see y'all next time.